Because we're trying to live on our own, so we're like, we need to start cooking, because if we're gonna live on our own, we gotta start cooking.
I'm Dalia Colon, and this is The Zest. Citrus, seafood, Spanish flavor, and Southern charm. The Zest celebrates cuisine and community in the Sunshine State. Today, learn how cooking classes can lead to independence for young adults with special needs, or anyone living on their own for the first time. The transition from high school to college can come with a steep learning curve. For many people, it's their first time juggling classes, laundry, roommates, a social life, and all the rest without the help of mom and dad. Now, the changes can be particularly challenging for young adults with special needs. So in 2020, the University of South Florida established UMatter. That's the letter U as in university and the word matter. It's a program that gives extra support to students with intellectual disabilities to help them succeed in college and beyond. As part of the program, UMatter students at USF St. Pete recently took a 6-week cooking workshop with nutritionist, dietitian, and occasional Zest guest, Wendy Wesley. The classes were held in the kitchen of Allendale United Methodist Church in St. Petersburg. Students learned to cook simple weeknight recipes that they can replicate at home, and then they ate what they cooked. The classes also covered topics like menu planning, food safety, and label reading. Now, if you're thinking, I could use a class like that, I do have to let you know that the UMatter program is only available for eligible students, but Wendy offers small group cooking classes that are open to the public. For details, contact Wendy through her website, wendywesleynutrition.com. I met up at Allendale Church with Wendy and one of the UMatter participants, USF St. Pete student Taylor Moore. In our conversation, they discussed takeaways from the cooking class, including recipe ideas for anyone living on their own for the first time.
Hi, I'm Taylor Moore. I'm in my second year of UMatter program. UMatter program is where people with disabilities can go and just live on campus and take 2 classes and just experience the college life. It's very fun.
Oh, I love that. Okay, tell me a little bit more about yourself. Like, how old are you? What do you do for
I am
fun?
22, and I am going to be a teacher's aide, and I love playing video games, relaxing, hanging out with friends, watching movies, and just being an overall good person.
Oh, I love that. Well, I've known you for 5 minutes, and I can already tell it's true. And then, Wendy, what about you?
I'm Wendy Wesley. I'm a registered and licensed dietitian nutritionist, and I teach cooking and basic nutrition to people all over the Tampa Bay area.
So tell me how you got involved with UMatter and just an overview of the cooking classes.
Taylor's professors found me, I think through a Google search. And they reached out to me and they said, would you be willing to do a cooking class for our students and just basic cooking? And I said, yeah. So we set it up. And we did it over the month of October of 2023 here in the kitchen at Allendale Church.
And we would have groups that connected with our schedules. Like I was grouped with Adabella, Navi, Jacob, and Jack. And yeah, we go every Monday night. It was from 5:30 to 6:30 or 6:45. We would go, we make, we'll eat, we'll go back. And it was like that 6-week little class. It was very fun.
So, Taylor, why do you think cooking was an important part of the UMatter program?
Because we're trying to live on our own, so we're like, we need to start cooking, because if we're gonna live on our own, we gotta start cooking. So yeah, I wanted to cook, and yeah.
What cooking experience did you have before this?
When I was little, I used to cook a lot of pancakes with my mother when I was like really little. And I stopped as I got older. And sometimes I would help my mom cook. But then I'm like, I told Ms. Bobak, hey, I want to start doing cooking classes. And I'm like, okay. And then when I got the email, I was overly super duper excited that I couldn't wait. It just made my whole day.
Oh, wow. So you manifested this.
I think I manifested it, girl.
That's amazing. So you had experience making pancakes with your mom. Who doesn't love pancakes?
Oh, I know, girl. My mom makes the best pancakes and the best eggs. I'm an egg snob. I can only eat eggs that my mother prepared because I like it soft scrambled. It's really good.
I love that. What were some other foods that you liked besides the eggs and the pancakes? Just like on a day-to-day basis, what were some of your other favorite foods?
Yogurt. I eat yogurt a lot for breakfast because I have a mini fridge in my dorm, which I go to at a Publix really close by. I get yogurt that I have for breakfast. I would have coffee with it because I have a coffee machine in my dorm, and I drink it totally black.
Ooh.
I know, totally black. And it's really good, and it's super good.
It sounds like you're a pretty healthy eater. Were you really into junk food at all? What's your favorite
I am
treat?
trying to get out of junk food, but it's hard.
Tell me, girl.
heck.
What's
It's so
What's your
hard.
favorite?
Pizza, hamburgers, fries, anything greasy.
Yes. So Wendy, she mentioned that the classes were 6 weeks with a different dish that they learned to make and then enjoy every week.
Yeah.
How did you decide what they needed to learn? Because 6 weeks is obviously not enough time to teach everything.
Yeah, yeah. And my goal with every meal was just 5 or 6 ingredients, no more than 5 or 6 ingredients for every single dish. And some of those ingredients were definitely vegetables. So I tried to create every meal had a little vegetable component and not eating a vegetable on the side. Like we didn't have a side of steamed broccoli. What we did was we incorporated vegetables into every single dish. Almost like not hiding them, but let's put all the vegetables in one dish and eat it as one dish.
Sure.
So super, super easy because I wanted all of the students to walk away from every class saying, that's it. I could do that, no problem. So the goal was to build confidence and to kind of dispel this idea that cooking is complicated and hard. It is ridiculously easy. And I hope that the students walked away saying, that was easy. I can replicate that easily at home.
So what were some of the dishes that they learned to make?
One of the dishes we did was an easy homemade chicken and orzo soup. And so
It was good.
orzo sounds, I think it was one of the favorites.
No, it was a black bean soup, you tell us.
Oh, that's
is the first.
right.
And then the meatballs, then I'm trying to remember. I have a great memory. I think in the third week was the quesadilla. Then the other week, the fourth week was, I know we did pancakes the last week. Sorry, I'm
You're
just
right.
trying
We
to
did
think.
chicken and orzo. We did black bean soup.
Oh yeah, chicken and orzo soup.
Yeah.
It could be a lunch, it could be a dinner, and then lunch leftovers the next day.
Yeah.
So what was your thought process, besides just having a few ingredients and making it simple? How did you choose these recipes?
Well, I did the chicken and orzo because orzo cooks very, very quickly. So it's a pasta, but it cooks faster than, say, like an egg noodle. So the whole idea was, how do I make a Tuesday night dinner but make it fast? So orzo cooks fast. We used rotisserie chickens and we shredded the chicken off of the rotisserie chicken. So we weren't baking a protein, we were buying it in the store. And then we used better than bouillon.
I just told my daughter about it last night because she wanted to make a soup. She said, do we have broth? I said, no, we have something better.
That's right. Do you remember the paste that we used?
Yes.
That was that chicken paste.
Yes.
Taylor, give us a little preview. What does it taste like? Were you nervous about making it?
So the first black bean, and I'm like, black bean? I don't like black bean. But then when I actually made it and tasted, I'm like, I underestimated Miss Wendy.
Never underestimate.
I
Miss
was
Wendy.
like, yes, I love it, I loved it, I loved it, I loved it with every single bite. Made it with carrots, and it was this really, really good soup. And it was great. And then the pancakes. We use complete, which means you get to pour water in and you just to get it done with it. But when I tasted it, it tastes exactly like my grandmother.
Aw.
And I just felt that, I'm like, Grandma?
So grandma was using a box.
Oh, yes. But sometimes my mom, and then I told my mom, which is my mom's, when my grandma was my mom's mom. I'm like, sometimes she is complete, sometimes she makes it from scratch, but it still tasted just like my grandmother's pancake. And I loved every bite, and it was really good.
But what I love about this, Wendy, is that it's okay to take a shortcut here and there. It's okay to use a box pancake mix and a rotisserie chicken. Why is that important?
It's not just okay, it's a necessity. Okay, so if we're gonna do more home cooking, that's what I am all about, is how do I get people back into the kitchen? It's okay to take some shortcuts. We used canned beans. We used better than bouillon. We used pre-cooked rotisserie chicken. We are doing shortcuts left and right. And this is just to introduce the students to how can I easily, painlessly make a meal at home, save lots of money, eat nutrient-dense foods, be full, feel great, and not blow my budget. Because college kids are really, I don't think anybody has the budget to order out through the meal delivery services several times a week.
Yeah, I do think that's important because it's like, don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
That's one of my favorite phrases. So with every meal, I really wanted to put the knives in the hands of the students. That was very, very important. So every student got a knife, and we started cutting carrots and onions and peppers and shredding carrots. And I think that it's very important that we're not afraid of knives. So we put our hands on knives, and we really, really get in with those vegetables. That's important.
You told me that a few years ago, and you recommended these nylon knives for my son. He was probably like 3 at the time. I love giving them as gifts to little kids. My daughter's 11. She uses a big knife, and it's not as scary if you're just always doing it. Taylor, were you comfortable using the knives and the stove?
Yeah, I was. And then I think a couple days after that, I cut myself. And I feel it, and I saw blood coming out.
That's always what happens.
And then I'm like, did I cut myself? I didn't forget at that moment because I'm like, I cut myself.
That's so funny that you say that, because it seems like when you cut yourself with a really sharp knife, you do see the blood before you even feel the cut. And then,
yes,
oh
exactly.
my God. But how, did that scare you from coming back?
No, it actually didn't. I'm like, I'm a real cook. I got this.
Yes.
And then my best friend cut herself during one of her cooking classes. And I'm like, girl, I'm a mama when it comes to her. She hates it.
You're like, welcome to the club. Now we're both real cooks, right?
Now we're real cooks. And me and her are really close.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, so Wendy, when putting together this program, and we know we're talking about students who maybe don't have a lot of cooking experience, which is a lot of students, frankly, and maybe have some other special challenges. Was there anything that you did to adapt the recipes or the process, or how did you sort of think of it that way?
I didn't have to really adapt it at all because, as you said, a lot of people don't have very, very high cooking skills. And so this class was like pretty much every other class I teach, is that we have to start with the basics, and the basics starts with a knife, a cutting board, and an onion. And then picking very, very easy recipes, and then showing them that it's okay to use canned beans and making things very, very simple. So no, nothing was different. It was just a very, very basic, simple approach to easy weeknight cooking.
Yeah, for sure. So Taylor, there are a lot of people listening to this. Talk to the listener who has very little cooking experience, who's getting ready to order their food from a meal delivery service, and maybe they don't get to be part of the UMatter program and take classes with Wendy.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for that person?
Just start cooking. Get a cookbook and start cooking. I got a cookbook, a Betty Crocker cookbook for Christmas for my mother, and we started cooking. And it's fun, cheaper, and a little healthier, too.
Now that you've mastered the chicken soup and the meatballs and definitely the pancakes, is there another recipe you'd like to try?
Well, in the Betty Crocker cookbook, are you guys ready for this? Drum roll, please. Drum roll. It is called broccoli and potato pancakes.
Ooh, so that'll be on your bucket list.
Yeah. Next time the UMatter program wants me to cook, we always make that an assignment. I will ask Kate and Marvin to come with me to Publix, and we will start cooking that.
Fun. Who are Kate and Marvin?
My best friend.
Oh, nice. That's
My
fun.
besties for life. The three of us are always been really close, and we always have really fun times. And it's just been amazing.
Can I ask you a question, Taylor?
Yeah, go.
So after the classes, it seems like your professors gave you some assignments. Did they give you some assignments to cook?
Yes. They would say, like, cook something and take a picture of it.
Oh, so you've kept it going.
They kept it going. And it's like an assignment, and I'm the type of girl that's like, okay, I gotta do this assignment. I don't want my grades to slip.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm gonna do that. And I asked, hey, Kate, do you want to cook with me? And then we cook together. We go to her dorm. We cook. It's awesome. And I also see my roommates, Liana and Audrey. And I always see them cooking. And my Summer sometimes cooks too. But mostly Liana and Audrey that cooks. And it smells really good.
Now, where do you cook? Is there a kitchen in the dorm room that you all share or in the building that you share?
Correct the Mongo, my
Okay.
friend. There's a kitchen where you can cook stuff. And sometimes, there's one time in the middle of the night, Summer was cooking like 11 o'clock at night, like last semester. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, like give it a rest. But I do like that you're cooking with your friends. And Wendy, is it helpful to cook? In my house, I'm the main cook, and my daughter and my son are kind of learning. But in my house, I do most of the cooking, and sometimes it feels kind of lonely. But when I get together with my girlfriends and we all just have kind of a big sleepover and cook, it's way more fun. So what can we all learn from how Taylor has taken this lesson and just like kept going with it?
Every time I teach a cooking lesson, I learn something new from the students. So I come in as the expert, but I end up walking away with new ideas, new techniques, new ingredients, and I learned a lot from the students. So yeah, cooking together, everybody walks away with a new skill, a new ingredient, a new hack, a new technique, a new trick or tip. And so I love cooking with other people because it enriches my ability to cook.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
So Taylor, wrapping up here, it sounds like you were somewhat confident in the kitchen before you started these classes. Has this class changed the way you think about cooking or just the way you eat on a day-to-day basis?
Both. Because I want to eat healthier because my mentor, her name is Haley, and her last name is Dragon.
Ooh, that's a cool name.
It's teaching me how to like eat nutrients, but sometimes it's hard. But I'm getting better, I think.
What's the hardest part?
When I see pizzas or chicken strips in that, I'm like, come on.
Sure. And you know what? If you eat most of your meals home cooked and most of them are pretty healthy, then you probably could have a burger once in a while or pizza when you
know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but this has been fantastic. I've learned so much about not just the program, but how we can all incorporate some of this because we're not all lucky enough to take the program. So Taylor, my last question is, in the beginning of this conversation, you said you want to be a teacher's aide.
Yep.
How do you think maybe some of the skills that you've learned in this class would help you in the future, whether it's with your profession or just being an adult on your own?
I think organizing, because I'm really organized. I've been like that probably since I was 16 or something. So I always been an organized person. You should see my dorm room. It is beautiful.
Come to my house, please. And in the kitchen, obviously, you have to be organized with your meal planning and where you put things and knowing what you have.
Yeah, like the Betty Crocker cookbook. It tells you what steps you have to do, which really is helpful. And I love it.
Awesome. I'm so glad I came here. I wish I could just be a student in the class. Wendy or Taylor, is there anything else you want people to know?
Go to the UMatter program. If you know someone who has a disability, go to the UMatter program.
Wow. I mean, you're the perfect spokesperson for the program. And then Wendy, what about you?
I want to make a shout out for beans and canned beans. Our first lesson was black bean soup, and I could tell that the kids were just like, I don't know about this. And so I said, no, I'm going to sell beans to these kids. And so we made a very good black bean soup, and I was over the moon when they ate it and they loved it. And I just felt like this massive, massive victory because I am always trying to sell beans.
Yes.
I love them.
Beans are underrated. As a vegetarian, let me just say, beans are underrated. They're inexpensive.
Yep.
All you gotta do is know how to season them. This has been fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Wendy and Taylor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. I loved it.
Let's give ourselves
Thanks
a round
for
of applause.
having us.
Thank you. You're a pro. You're a superstar. I'm so glad I got to talk to you before you get too big for us.
Taylor Moore is a student at USF St. Pete, and Wendy Wesley is a St. Petersburg-based dietitian and nutritionist. That homemade chicken and orzo soup that was such a hit with the UMatter participants, you'll find that recipe on our website, thezestpodcast.com. I'm Dalia Colon. I produce The Zest with Andrew Lucas and Alexandria Ebron. The Zest is a production of WUSF. Copyright 2024, part of the NPR network.